To the U.S. Department of State Trafficking in Persons report, 77% of trafficking victims are exploited within their own country. With child trafficking occurring in all 50 U.S. states, Joseph Travers, founder of Saved in America, has published a book to help people identify solutions to combat the evils of domestic child sex trafficking in the U.S. He joins us this morning to explain. Joseph, good morning.
Well, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great. If I'm not mistaken, this is your fourth book, isn't it?
This is the fourth edition, yes.
Okay, tell us about it.
Well, actually, here it is, Investigation of Missing and Exploited Children, the Gateway to Child Sex Trafficking. And what happened on this is I was a former policeman, a licensed private investigator, and I was teaching part-time at a private investigation school. And the school, and this is about 1993, didn't have a curriculum. So I wrote the curriculum, and I was looking for a textbook to match the curriculum. It didn't exist. So I wrote Introduction to Private Investigation in 1995. And when I happened into, it was a calling for child sex trafficking in 2009, I looked for a textbook, and there wasn't one. So my son and I got together and rewrote the first edition and released that in 2014, and now this is the fourth edition this year.
And at what point did you found Saved in America?
That was our first assisted recovery was in December 2014. We actually came up with the idea in 2009 after reading about a young girl who went missing in upstate New York named Brittany Drexel. And then after that, read an article about United States Navy SEALs going overseas and rescuing children. So I contacted the SEALs that were doing this overseas and asked them, do you understand that this is happening here, this domestic child trafficking? They had no idea, so we formed this organization with three pillars. Number one, to never charge parents for our work, to always stay an all-volunteer force, and to only use former special operators and police officers who all become licensed, insured private investigators to, like I said, assist parents and law enforcement in the recovery of children here in this country.
Can you expand on, I'm looking at the correspondence you sent here, there are four specific prevention methods that you cite, prevention, rescue, rehabilitation, and investigation. How does that break down? Well,
first of all, you want to prevent. That's the big thing, and we do that with many community events. We're in a parade. This will be our second annual parade. We help, with law enforcement and public safety outreaches and schools and different community groups. But then if you don't have the prevention and the child runs away, according to a recent study by Dr. Amy Carpenter at University of San Diego, a minimum of 30% of all runaway girls become child sex trafficking victims. So our goal then is to try to recover the runaway child before she is trafficked. And we just did that. Actually, we came back from a operation in Las Vegas, and while we're in the operation in Las Vegas, we were helping two parents in Riverside County and actually found their children before the traffickers could get to them.
Well, obviously the methods work, because apparently you've had more than 230 recoveries since the inception of SIA.
Yes, and that's all. And all the credit goes to our volunteers. They work, most of them 40 to 60 hours a week, like everyone else. They have their own day jobs, they have their own businesses, but they extend their time for free for this mission because they see how important this mission is to the parents of this country.
And is it your volunteers that notify you if a child has run away? How do you determine the subjects?
Well, we have two ways we do this. Parents go to our website, savedinamerica.org, savedinamerica.org. If you know any parents that have a missing child, please go there, fill out the application, and we will help you for free. If we go to a geographical location, like we went to Reno last month, some concerned citizens asked us to come and help them out to look for 7 girls that were missing there. So what we'll do is we'll use the missing children from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children's website, and would identify the children in that immediate area, then do a workup of intelligence on those children, and then go out and operate to try to do a surveillance and get eyes on the girls and then call in law enforcement to pick them up.
Well, that seems like a very complex thing, because you have to first of all identify who they are. You have to identify where they might be. There just seems like a lot of moving parts.
Oh, definitely. This is very, we were just, like I said, in Vegas for a little over 4 days, and it is just draining. When you go out and you go and you do intelligence and you do your social networking investigation, and then you go out and you do your undercover, your surveillance on multiple locations, and you chart it all out. But basically we do it like that, and it's successful. But we want to help law enforcement, who right now is short on resources. And for them to go out and spend 100 hours on surveillance, they just don't have the people to do that. So that's why, as volunteer licensed private investigators, we go out to fill that gap, to help law enforcement, to help parents to find their runaway kids, because you don't want your child to end up with a child sex trafficker. It takes years for a child to be recovered from that. And that's the rehabilitation segment. We actually help the parents with find a rehabilitation facility and methods on how to pay for it.
And how big a role does social media play in these cases?
Oh, it's tremendous. That's exactly how the trafficker, and most traffickers, according to the study I mentioned before by Dr. Amy Carpenter, are street gang members in collusion with prison gang members and the cartels. So they seduce the child through social networking, and the child really doesn't understand how dangerous that is. And we all know that with the sexting and these other problems that we have on social media. So the child then becomes seduced away from the home, and then once the predator gets a hold of the child, then they get them addicted to drugs. And once the child's addicted to drugs, they'll do anything for the drug.
Your fourth book sounds like another fascinating read. Joseph, how can our viewers get a copy of this book?
Go to the website, savedinamerica.org. You can order a copy. We don't take any profit off of this. All the proceeds go right back into Saved in America. It's a great book. It'll tell you about child sex trafficking, where it came from, actually about our 6-step methodology on how we go ahead and find a child. And there's 5 true stories in it too. Of course, the names are changed, but 5 children that we rescued across this country. And there's complete stories with that. And on the last chapter, what the solutions are to this problem that really didn't even exist a little over 10 years ago.
Wow. Joseph Travers, savedinamerica.org. Joseph, thanks for all the work you do helping these kids who so desperately need it, and the families too, for that matter. Appreciate your time.
Thank you very much. God bless you.
You too, sir.